Being a bigger guy myself, for those that want to go ahead and make remarks about when a guy finds a woman attractive who is a bigger girl, that's definitely above the supposed standard BMI index, body mass index, right? A woman that does not meet the beauty standards that have been put out there by the world, by the multi-billion-dollar beauty industry out there. My thing is this, and this is where I come from with this. I can appreciate if there are some women out there that are going to try to encourage or empower other women to feel good about their bodies when they're not as big. Now, there's a few ways to look at it. Number one, if it's something where a woman looks very unhealthy, yeah, I get that part. But there's also that can also be dependent upon who is saying who is not healthy. Because how many people do we hear that are going to call somebody else fat or ugly or whatever? And, what kind of shape are they in? It's the judgment of that. So if it's somebody that's like, that will make these comments because they're in some ultra shape, they, are basically professional trainers in their own kind of heart. They want people to go ahead and look extra fit without an inch or without an ounce of fat on them. You can't pinch an inch off of them. And there are those people that feel like they need to go ahead and talk down everybody else. Because remember, I mean, one in every three or like now every 2 or 3 people right now are obese. Like that's a common thing now. And I'll just say it like this. It looks better on a younger girl. When it's a girl that's more like under 40, under 30, there's still time for a woman to go ahead and get herself into a certain shape. Because remember, some women are going to be a certain shape because they had children or because, something could have happened with any kind of medication they might have taken, birth control, anything with any kind of depression medication. There's a lot of different varying factors. But there's also those that are, they've gone through some really bad traumatic episodes in their life. And sometimes, the pressure of trying to stay young and fit and beautiful, that someone will just go ahead and cave in and just give it up. So it's all about, if you want more women to be in better shape, then there has to be something that has to happen with a solid parenting dynamic at home. Encouragement just to go ahead and be active. And not necessarily, sure, you can also try to go and control and, be cognizant of what people are eating out there. I mean, fast food doesn't make anything easy for anyone out there. Because we know for those women that are out there that are in great shape, I mean, what are you going to eat? You're going to eat a lot of vegetables. You're going to eat a lot of things that are, to watch the caloric intake, but nothing enjoyable. Meanwhile, most women, they're going to want to be able to enjoy a good meal. Something where, if it is a good iced coffee or if it's a, sweets or if it's ice cream or whatever. There's a lot of different things that women might be going to enjoy. Like just what's available out there in the mall. If you go to the mall and just see what out there is available. Or just going to whatever fast food place you want to go to. There's nothing that's necessarily healthy. So everybody gets kind of caught up in that. And the one thing that you can do is if you realize, if you want to go and enjoy that kind of food, then you got to have some kind of high level metabolism, or you're going to have to be able to go and work out at some kind of level to be able to go ahead and maintain, that kind of intake of food. And the fact that maybe it's not going to be all good for you. That it's all moderation, just like alcohol, just like everybody else. Anything else. Any other imbibing or any other vices that you have. It's all in moderation. But it's very hard for people to go ahead and feel that way. So my thing is, I think it's important that there are a lot of younger women that are empowered and just, if they don't have themselves in a certain shape that is ideal, but the truth is, a lot of younger women, if they just really realize that they can have that confidence and self-esteem to feel comfortable in whatever they want to wear. Not that they have to follow some kind of thought process that peer pressure puts on them. But peer pressure in high school doesn't help either. Because there are women that will go to that particular fat denial and they'll go through and to have to give up the fact that they can't feel comfortable in wearing anything that they want. And they can't go into a regular size store and find something that can just fit in, even if it might not fit in well, that they're going to feel like they can't do it anymore. Now, I'm not expecting anybody to go and say that we need to get rid of plus size and we need to do things like that. But look, for women that get caught up on this and they have to go and say that, well, I'm curvy now, I'm fat, I'm a full figured woman. I'm a big, beautiful woman. I hate all those phrases. Women just naturally can just be as they want. But with the understanding that, there's a part that says if you are a certain weight, you know, just like anybody that holds on to weight, I know for myself, holding on to extra weight when you're younger and knowing what kind of ramifications you can do for heart disease, for diabetes, for various different things down the line in your life. Like most importantly, is that you can't be having that kind of weight at 40 years old and up. Like it's just not healthy. It's not good. And for the most part, the closer you get towards 40, the harder it gets to take off. And for some women, for some guys out there, it's tough, man. Like I know it because I've been in that fight for 25 years, more than that, trying to get myself into a certain shape. Like right now, I'm at a shape I haven't been in since college. That's saying a lot. And maybe like another 40, 50 pounds, I might be where I'm actually supposed to be after all this time. And it's not been easy. But I'll tell you what. My thing is that there are plenty of guys out there that like a girl who's heavier. But it's got to be a woman who's heavier that still maintains all of her feminine features, right? So she might be a little bit bigger, but the truth is she still has hips. She still has a certain body shape that is very feminine, it's still very curvy. It's extra curvy. But the truth is that the woman still looks, is very feminine. Just as, listen, is a beautiful woman that just carries a little more weight. So in my eyes, if I see a woman that is 5'6", 5'5", and 200 pounds, 250, at up to about 300 pounds, I'm gonna find very attractive. Especially when younger. Especially when you see a girl that might be that kind of that height and weight, and as a younger girl, because her skin is still very much mendable and very much pliable and flexible. So if a woman's able to go ahead and drop the weight, like it'll drop really quickly, and there's not going to be much left of anything in terms of stretch marks or any after effects, things like that. And so I want women that are younger to feel like they need to go and feel as beautiful as they should, that they still possess all the youth and beauty they possess. Because there's that one thing to be said about right around 30 years old, that things just start changing, because then your beauty is not going to be what's the priority that most men will look at. It's by 30 years old, what else is there more besides your beauty? What is it that you have in terms of, being a fully functional, fully pliable woman that just has so many different things to offer? Just like there's so many different things a man has to offer, there has to be a certain amount of things a woman can also provide and also be a part of, and is also able to do in terms of being responsible as being a wife and a mother and a soulmate and all those things put together. So there's various stories that come up here. The Sun magazine always likes to put these up there about how there are very specific type of guys that are attracted to her, the opposite of what you might think. So TikTok creator was talking about this and saying there's a niche group of men in the online dating pool that have specifically gravitated towards her. Right. Well, the thing is, and I look at her and she's a attractive woman. And she notices that all of my friends that are really strong, that work out a lot, can throw around a lot of weight, are typically into the bigger, thicker girls. And that she's dealt with this phenomenon personally, and it's something that's escaped her for years. And then when she's on dating apps, the main type of men that she would pull would be big gym bros. And that she didn't have a type, but she didn't necessarily was attracted to gym rats, but they had a clear attraction to her. And that's interesting about that. So in the story, that she continues on and says that, she has a thicker and curvier body, and she previously assumed that fit men wouldn't be attracted to her. And she's mentioned that they're different people have different types of preferences, but she's still related to it. And there's the thought that thin guys don't normally go after curvier women. I mean, the opposites that can attract can actually be in that part, but the thing is that there are absolutely certain guys that will have a certain shape that would like a bigger girl just for something that's just. I don't even think it's so much if there's a type. It's just a matter of that if there's an attractiveness, period. Another girl comes out and says, I'm fat, I love my curvy figure, nothing wrong with having a little bit of pudge, no matter what trolls say. And the other thing too is that we always hear this part about how a lot of women that it might be a little bit heavier, but always have a pretty face. And honestly, if you're a girl that has, long hair, pretty face, you can still pull it off. And I can tell you that most of those girls are taken because I'm always the one that's trying to, attracted to the girls. They're definitely a prettier girl, but you know, and I prefer a girl who has a little bit of a stomach on her, but I can't get it. Just struggles. I have that kind of thing happen. So what can I do? And it's not a matter that some women just don't have a particular beauty about them, but yeah, they're just some guys that, just like every other woman has a different body type, the same thing for guys like me that like a different body type as well. And it's incredible how you hear all of this. But like I said, it definitely works well for women that are still younger. And it's not something where you want to be able to hold on to that weight all the time, but you shouldn't be judged about it either. The matter is that there's a body positive kind of thing to it. And put it like this, Lizzo's a great example. She's a beautiful girl. And all in all, I mean, well, there's a lot of guys would find her attractive. And they always hear something that's always like, she hasn't got a pretty face. And I've seen when she looked a little bit, when she was younger, she looked very attractive, even with a little extra weight on her. But the truth is, there might be some people that might be saying that they might expect her to keep a certain weight. But the truth is that she's holding on to a lot of weight. And the fact that she's doing all the dancing and all the performance sets that she does, and she's working out, she's doing a lot to go and do that. And they put her through diets that she's not been one to be interested in. It's still going to be dependent upon her if she wants to do something about it or not. But the truth is, just like anybody else like myself, if you carry too much weight, there's a point where you can't keep on to that because it's going to hurt your heart. It's going to hurt your heart. It's going to hurt your body. It's going to mess things up. And that's one of those things that everybody has to kind of figure out. If you're heavier, you realize, listen, you have time to get yourself, where you need to be. And maybe you can still keep some of that, keep some weight on you. But the truth is, you just can't keep all that on you. Like, I think there's something to be said about how someone might still be, 30, 40, 50, maybe 60, 70 pounds overweight. But, if they're still healthy and they're still, going through regular blood tests on a regular basis, and they realize, they're going to be okay. They're not in such a shape that their health is going to be compromised. That's the most important thing. But that's got to be dependent on the person. It's going to be their choice. When it comes to women, it's going to be her choice if she wants to do that. But women that are out there, if you're heavier, do not be caught up in a whole beauty standard that you can't look a certain way. There's a lot of different confident, body positive creators out there that are encouraging that, and that's fine. But remember, it's still going to be where a guy wants a feminine, young girl that's, has definitely all the feminine features in the world. The eyes, long hair, have a particular shape. And, even if she is a little bit more of a bigger shape and she still feels confident in the same kind of clothes that younger, skinnier girls do, then rock on. And go out there and be a little depraved and debaucherous.